general and their role in pushing for a more democratic process, in particular in Egypt, where they are trying to oppose the rule of President Mubarak.
You know, once again, Islamism is as diverse as Islam and Muslims. You cannot just, oh, Islamist means, you know, violent extremism. This is superficial, wrong, and has nothing to do with the scientific work of understanding what is happening. You have political Islam and Islamist parties and trends that we have to put into context. For example, the Muslim Brotherhood, my grandfather founded the Muslim Brotherhood during the 20s, and then he was dealing with a specific context. He was quite clear, we don't want the British colonization, we want to be autonomous. And for this, I would have supported this by saying we don't support colonization. Now, the specific answer for a specific period of time is something that we have to take into account. So the first thing that we have to do is not to essentialize political Islam by saying they are all the same. That's not true. Or to say, oh, for example, these are the nice or the very beautiful face of something which is hidden behind, which is Al-Qaeda or Bin Laden. These are things that are very superficial and dangerous. Because where are you going to put, for example, Erdogan today, or the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, or other trends in Morocco? So we have to go case by case and understand what is happening. First, every single movement is moving itself within history. You can see that they are moving, that they are changing the position. This is one thing. And then there are diversity of strategies that they are using. So you may agree or not that Islam is a social reference or political reference. And I could be very critical towards this. But I'm not going to come with a very simplistic answer by saying, you know, this is all bad. And still, in many countries, it's not because of Islam or because of these Islamist parties that we have dictatorships. So, for example, Saddam Hussein or Hafiz al-Assad or Mubarak today, they are people who are not advocating anything which has to do with Islam, but still they are dictators and they are promoting dictatorships. So I would go for more democratization in Muslim majority countries and to let these parties being able to speak out, as long as they are not using violence and killing innocent people. If they are in the political process, let them be in and we'll see what is happening. It's by challenging their ideas that we can change. It's not by pushing them underground and they then end up being violent or being supported because they are not accepted by the official political arena. I would say that this is the way forward for me. No simplification on this because it's not helping us at all.
Let me ask you about this controversial figure in Yemen who comes from the United States, the U.S.-born Muslim cleric Anwar al-Awlaki, who recently issued this audio message to American Muslims. This is a little excerpt of what he said.
I, for one, was born in the U.S. and lived in the U.S. for 21 years. America was my home. I was a preacher of Islam involved in non-violent Islamic activism. However, with the American invasion of Iraq and continued U.S. aggression against Muslims, I could not reconcile between living in the U.S. and being a Muslim, and I eventually came to the conclusion that jihad against America is binding upon myself just as it is binding on every other able Muslim.
So this is Anwar al-Awlaki, and I want to ask you two things. On Democracy Now!, we had on the UN rapporteur on extrajudicial killings because the CIA has issued an order of assassination for this U.S. citizen, and we talked to Philip Alston about the legality of targeting him for assassination. And second, I wanted to ask you about exactly what he said. He's been linked to the failed Christmas Day bombing and to the shootings at Fort Hood.
Two things. The first is to decide that we can kill someone the way it was decided. It's unacceptable. It's simply unacceptable. It's unacceptable anywhere. It's unacceptable in Israel when they are saying we are targeting people and we are going to kill them. It's unacceptable to listen to a democracy and a government saying, oh, we can kill him. He's an American citizen and we can kill him because of what he's saying. I think no. We cannot. You know, the most important danger that the states and European countries are facing is not the Muslim presence, is not violent extremism per se, is because we are facing extremism and violent extremism, to come to a point that we are betraying our own values, that we say things that we can torture, that we can go towards extraordinary rendition, and we can kill someone like this. This is the big threat. This is just unbelievable that we can forget our values and say, okay, we can do things like this. No, it should be it can be arrested and a trial, and we see what is said and what is not said. So this is my position. It's a position of principle, and I think that with my presence as a European Muslim, a Western Muslim, I'm helping my country, my continent, to reconcile itself with its own values, not to act against them. So this is a first point. The second is, we have something here which is quite interesting. He was in the state, and at the beginning he had a very open, this speech and understanding that we have to be American, and then after all this, there is something which is missing here. And the missing link is this one. There is a lack of sense of belonging. If you listen to what he's saying here, that America and us killing Muslims, so it's as if it's an us versus them. And this